I've been selling my soul and working all day, drinking a beer, and he's got gray. So I can sit on back and drink my life away. But it is what it is, 'cause well, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. I don't know. Anyway, we're here hanging out, chilling, get a bag, smoking it. You know what I mean? Oh, what the hell? Oh, well, yeah, man, we're chilling out now, waiting to see who's gonna show up. If anybody's gonna show up, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, if anybody's gonna show up, somebody's gonna scroll through, say hi, say, say whatever, just, I'm a Uber driver doing my thing, you know what I mean? Kick it one day at a time. And I get, trying to find, different job, something to do a little better than it. But damn, just ain't shit out there, man, I ain't trying to just work at some fucking restaurant somewhere, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to get up at 6 a.m. either, fucking whole world's just a fucking big old piece of shit, ain't nothing I'm gonna do at fucking 7 a.m. is gonna make a difference for me doing shit after 11 a.m., you know what I mean? Oh, fuck. But fucking, people don't fuck around, all this shit. But sometimes you gotta go back, back to the beginning, and figure shit out. But yeah, like they say, it's need over want in the first place. So how you doing, Tony? But yeah, it's fucking one day at a time, just doing my thing, living my life in a Toyota Corolla. Uh, Basically been living in the Corolla since September. Um, yeah, the girl I was living with for about 9, 10 years. She decided she had enough of me and threw me out. And so I don't know. The only thing I could do is come back down, down here, hang out near my mom, at least get some help from her, But she didn't let me come back in the house, you know what I mean? Wasn't really wanting to go back to mom's either, you know what I mean? But it's nice to be able to clean my clothes, catch a meal every now and then, that kind of thing. But other than that, just been car camping. Trying to have that mindset, where I'm just like car camping, and then just on a long road trip. But yeah, I don't know. I had a couple viewers for a second there, and they all left. I got one guy watching now, but yeah, I don't really know if it was the voice I was doing or what, but fucking just trying to do our thing, small step from dragging our knuckles still, you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know, man. Work's tough. I'm not, like I said, I'm trying to find a job, but I ain't trying to find one in a kitchen somewhere. You know what I mean? It's just all the fucking hassle, the online orders, and DoorDash bullshit, all that other, and I don't know. My mind can't quite work at a kitchen space anymore. I try to, I don't know, more or less need to find like an early retirement job. You know, and pretty much what I got, the retail position I do have, but the boss is just fucking overworking me, because like I said, I don't know, trying to, like I said, find more like an early retirement job, and then he delegates a lot of shit, and then I don't know. I try to just not even do it because I'm not management, like I'm not trying to be either, I'm not trying to come in and be a superstar and do all this, bend over backwards, and then how you doing, Orca fan? But yeah, go in and try to be a superstar, man. I've been doing that 12 years. Fucking it ain't done nothing for me to fucking be putting 110, 120% into the job. You know what I mean? So I'm just to the point, I'll give you C, fucking 70% is passing, right? That's all you're getting from me, you know? But yeah, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just getting older, and I know I don't quite look like it, but, I'm in my 30s and, I'm trying to take a step back, you know what I mean? Take it out of second gear and put it into first gear and then just play ball as I have to, But I don't know. There's a lot of people, they still look at me and they think I'm like 25, And they're like, well, what do you mean you're out of gas already? It's like, well, fuck, bro. Damn, I've done fucking 33 fucking blocks around this shit, Fucking, it ain't doing me no good. Everything I've done up to this point, it don't seem like it's actually helped me any, you know. I don't know, man. But I feel like at the same time, I've built one fucking hell of a fucking pyramid for someone else, But that's what I'm saying. I'm just to the point. I'm done with it now, Like, I'll work, do enough to, do enough to earn a check, but I'm not trying to bleed myself out and become a manager, or I am the manager and you're just pushing everything off on me to do it. I don't know. It's fucking, I don't want it, man. It's stupid. And then for the fucking 75 cent more fucking pay, like what the fuck is even that? So you're gonna tell me I'm a low level manager, but I'm not even making another $40 a week. If I was working a 40-hour week and a dollar more, they're not even gonna give you $40 more to actually be the person in charge. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, how you doing, New Mexico? Samuel, how you, man? I don't know. And then where I'm at, Florida, man, it's everything is restricted land. Like they want to make it illegal. I was thinking about getting an enclosed cargo trailer, and then it would just look like a white cargo trailer, like a work trailer or something. People got like a toy hauler or something like that. Um, but it's illegal to even, like, if you have raw land that's undeveloped, you can't just park an enclosed trailer on it. It needs to be like, if you have a house built, you could park it next to the house. Yeah, it's all right, man. Like I said, it's just another day. Like, I, I've been homeless before. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna make sure that this is the last time. Um, because I don't know, it's just bullshit all the way around, man. Fucking, helping somebody, y'all are building the house together, and I don't know, it just happened kind of half abruptly too. It just, I don't know. I felt like all the fucking neighbors were trying to rip us off. Everybody, yeah. Well, I don't. That's the thing, is I'm not really trying to like move into a place either, and then start paying 1,000 or $1,200 a month or more, and then that's just going into somebody else's pocket, or if it's not going into their pocket, it's going into their asset. You know what I mean? That's why I'm really just trying to find like land that I can call a base camp. You know what I mean? Bushcraft, a lean-to. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, not that I'm really trying to live like off grid. You know what I mean? But build slowly. Build my own thing slowly, um, rather than, I don't know, dude. Just apartment living, it just is dumb, dude. I've seen so many people pay to live in an apartment, so that way that their neighbors end up robbing them while they go to work to be able to afford for their apartment, or the rent is higher than the mortgage. You know what I mean? I saw, like, $200,000 house, um, and then they got these apartments up the street from where I'm sitting right now. The apartments, they're, granted, they're 1,400 square feet, but it's a 2-bedroom apartment. It doesn't need to be 14 square feet. They made it 1,400 square feet so that way they can charge 1,500 a month for it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do, because that's like the only way to, like, if, like I said, if I buy land, you can camp on it's your private property, right? So you have if you have the right, if you can camp on private property as long as you have permission from the owner. And then since I would be the owner, I could camp there, right? But it's only for a max of up to 90 days in a 6-month period or in a year, something like that, right? So I can camp on my own property for up to 90 days. But right, what you're saying about getting a van, right? Like, I could park a van as long as the van is registered and insured, as long as it's movable, it's a something I move around like at least once a week to go up to the store or whatever. You can do that. You can park a car, because at that point it's not illegal to park a car on vacant land that you own and then hop into the back seat and take a nap. You know what I mean? It's like it's human right to sleep, and you've built a semi-safe spot for you to sleep at that point. You know what I mean? Because you own the grounds. It's kind of wooded land, and then you're just in a van, and you like created a driveway. You know what I mean? And then you just camp in the van. You know what I mean? Put you a little bit of solar, enough to charge your phone. Maybe run a laptop, and that's about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad you're talking to me, Sam. Appreciate you hanging out. I don't know if you're a subscriber, but yeah, appreciate you talking to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I'm doing my thing. I'm Ubering, since I'm living in the car anyway. Since I'm gonna be spending 95% of my time in a car, I might as well help some people get fed. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does pay. Like I made the most money I've ever made in a single hour the other day, where I made $49 in 1 hour, because the way that one trip paid, it paid me $40 for the one trip. So, like I said, that's the most money I've ever made in 1 hour. You know what I mean? I know some people, depending on what part of the country you're in, you're like 49 an hour, like that's nothing still, bro. And that's the shitty part. Fucking, well, at least I'm not making 7.25. You know what I mean? I can't believe federally minimum wage is still so low. You know what I mean? Because it's been 7.25 since 2009. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, it's been 7.25 for 17 fucking years. They have not increased federal minimum wage, and it's why I don't understand why not. Everything's like tripled since then. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. And then they just print money anyway. You know what I mean? So they're just basically just giving us tickets that you know what I mean? And you can't say that nationally minimum wage should be at least 12. You know what I mean? Like, and the dumb part is, everything would just be priced out to match that anyway. Like the way that houses are priced at 30 years of our lives. You know what I mean? And why is a used house that two, three, four, five, however many families have lived in before y'all got there, the family you plan on having there, why does a used house go up in value so much? You know what I mean? It's like it already cost the guy before you 30 years of his life, and then the guy before him, it was like probably 25 or 30 years of his life, and then you have to sign up to pay for it for another 30 years of your life. You know what I mean? I don't understand. The materials have been bought and paid for over and over again, and and it's, I don't know, dude. It's it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, like, if you bought a 20-year-old car, you wouldn't expect to pay more for it than when it was new. You know what I mean? So I don't know why a 20-year-old, you know what I mean? I get inflation, and it's the dollar value of the house. It's not really that the house increased in value, it's that the dollar fell that much in that time. You know what I mean? Because it's the same house, nothing's changed. You know what I mean? You picked it up and moved it nowhere. You know, but yeah, the dollar fell so much. And then, like I said, the wages don't match. Like, But yeah, all right. Sorry, let me see what you're saying here. Yeah, the national forest, but it's far from my job. You know what I mean? Granted, yeah, I'm putting a lot of miles on my car by doing Uber anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I should probably think about that a little bit more. But it is like way on the other side of the city to get to like a national forest. Um, it'd be probably an hour and 15-minute drive to work through all the bullshit of the whole city to get to work. And then, like I try to have my actual job, trying to have that be more of like the gig that I do on the weekends. And then Uber feeds me and pays for gas and helps me buy stupid shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do got to keep some kind of job. You know what I mean? I see that. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to figure out a way to make rice. You know what I mean? Whether you own land or not. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to trying to live on that whole less is more philosophy, that that you will have nothing and you will be happy philosophy. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I don't. I would, like I said, I would buy 10 Toyota Corollas before I'd buy a Corvette. You know what I mean? And it just makes more sense too. Anyway, you could run 10 fucking Corollas. Shit, you're talking a million miles. Not each car, but you know what I'm saying. Between shit, you should be able to get 2 or 3 million miles out of 10 Corollas. Right, right, man. That's kind of the way I've been doing it too. Like, I don't know, my bills per month are a little weird right now. So I've been trying to like add that up to see exactly, because even though I'm living in the car, there's still bills involved with that, insurance and stuff like that, because cops could come knock on the window at any moment, but at least, I have the insurance ready to show them, because that's going to be one of the things they ask, you know what I mean? Um, because if they ask you to leave, then obviously you can't leave because the car's not insured, you know. Um, but yeah, like basically the car insurance, you have to pay either way, whether you're living indoors or not. You know what I mean? So I consider the car insurance as like my rent, basically. And then on top of that, I got the credit card payments. I pretty much try to make $100 payment to each one of those, and I got $200 in bills, and I got an e-bike that I bought. But I'm almost done with payments on that. I think March is my last payment. The job market in Iran. Shit, I don't. It's yeah, because it's a good time to go to Iran. It was. I don't know. My whole life has never been a good time to go to Iran, though. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not really the job market because like I'm doing pretty good stacking up the Bitcoin. And if that actually turns into what they're saying it's going to turn into, and then like you see what it did to the Iranian currency, like priced in Bitcoin, it just went straight up. Like, um, I think the same thing's gonna happen to the dollar eventually. But yeah, it could be 100 years from now. You know what I mean? I could just be buying Bitcoin to be giving it to my nephew or something. But you know what I mean? But whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm almost to. I shouldn't be saying this, but whatever. I'm almost to 10% of a coin now, and that's what they say. That's all you need. If you're younger like I am, and you can plan on retiring in 2040, let's say 2040 because it's a good round number, you know what I mean? And then still it's 15 years, 14 years from now. You got plenty of time to kind of like plan everything out, see what happens between now and then. But, hopefully by 2040, Fidelity, like one of the world's largest investment groups, they predict $1 billion Bitcoin by 2040. And, it would just be that obvious later, I think, like, oh, yeah, that B symbol. The B symbol just means 1,000 of the S, and I think it's going to be that way, just because it's easier on a computer. You wouldn't have to put the S for the dollar, the dollar symbol, a one, and then 9 zeros. You could just put the B symbol and then a one. You know what I mean? So all these zeros, the computer wouldn't even have to computate, put it on a screen or save it as data. You know what I mean? It would ultimately save space. Um, you know what I mean? Just to create another symbol because our currency is inflating that much. And I think it's kind of clear. You know what I mean? And then it's just the absolute scarcity of there only being 21 million of them. That scarcity, once it finally takes effect and the supply shock really truly hits, I think after two more halvings, yeah, yeah, then I could die at any point. You know what I mean? And I don't plan on just stopping at 10%. You know what I mean? But I've got a baseline to continue from. You know what I mean? I'm hoping to get to 21% of a coin because the mathematics on that, like, if there's 21 million Bitcoin, you have 0.21% of a Bitcoin, right? Only 100 million people can have that much. Only 100 million people on the planet. If it was all divided evenly, which it hasn't been, there's, Michael Saylor's company, they're on their way to 5%. Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever or whomever or whatever country or outside force outside of this planet, even whoever that is, they have another 5%. And in BlackRock, they're on their way to 5%. And then 5% of the 5% of global wealth, like, and then what I mean, for any one person to have 5% of potentially all the world's currencies in one bucket, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, just the strength of the euro, plus the strength of the dollar, plus the strength of the yuan, plus the strength, you know what I mean? All of this added together, and then we could, like, if everybody were to buy like 1% of a Bitcoin, like tomorrow, right? We could generate a number that is so huge there'd be no reason to go to war because everybody would have 1% of a Bitcoin, and we would have just created this huge ass number that the price is, and half of us would sell out. But at the same time, it'd be in the history of the computer when the computer logs it, like all the blockchain of everything, history, the transactions and everything. The price would have still went up to this mega huge number, and it would be easier for it to get back up to that number because what happened back in 2025, so 10 years from now, and it's not even going to take that long, you know what I mean? But from 100K to a million, I'm sure that's a 10x. And then where it's at now, under 70, you're looking at, I think, a 13 or 14x instead. I'm not sure. I'm not quite doing the math all the way there. No, no, they won't disappear because because local governments, they're not going to step out of the way. You know what I mean? But at the same time, their currency will help fund this other currency. Kind of like, think about it we're on the surface of Mars trading currency, but we won't need to pass paper money back and forth to pay somebody for a day of labor. You'll be able to just like pay them with your watch, and then you could scan their watch with, read the barcode, and just boom, pay for that. And then, you'd be paying for the price of a bottle of water on Mars would be the price of whatever Dogecoin is, like Doge, because they both run on the same protocol at proof of work. So like you on Mars, you would have to work to even get water. You know what I mean? Because it's that finite on Mars. You know what I mean? So you'd have to, enter your Dogecoin to get a bottle of water out of the vending machine or from a water fountain or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm thinking really far out here, but I honestly, and then for a while there, Dogecoin was the price of bottled water when it was around 25 cents. Like, it was kind of weird, you know. Like, you want a bottle of water? Well, here, you use this doggy coin. You use the doggy coin, you can get a bottle of water. But I don't know. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. 4 viewers for pretty solid, pretty concurrent too. Normally, I have, like one viewer is normally just Fred, and then other people will pop in. Fred, but I've actually had like 5 viewers for a good minute. Popped up at like 8 for a good minute. Was at 9. Yeah, seeing back to 5 viewers. I don't know. I'm really not doing anything. I know. I'm not trying. I'm not expecting to have 1,000 people watching. You know what I mean? But I'm just chilling outside the gym. Felt like talking. Um, I'm not doing too bad. Getting through it. I'm kind of worried about the other homeless now a little bit because like I said, I got one guy threatening that he wants to break my legs and kill me and tie me up to this and do that. And like I said, I don't know what the fuck I did to him. You know, all I do is drive by and deliver an Uber while he's out there with his sign. You know, I even thought about doing that, like just live stream myself panhandling. You know, just like, just out there panhandling. Just let my camera just set up on, just watching me. Oh man, I forgot. I didn't say anything about it yet, but I ordered a selfie stick and a toilet seat, some wipes and some trash bags. You know what I mean? The whole 9 yards. Ordered all of that, and the fucking Amazon, the payment or something, the payment method declined, so they changed payment methods. And when they changed payment methods, they couldn't charge the payment method without changing the address on me. So they changed the shipping address and shipped it to my ex. Well, hopefully not my ex, but yeah, shipped it to hopefully my wife. And so now, I spent $70 on all that, and it's 1,000 miles away. I'll have to figure out how to pay to ship it to either myself or go pick it up later or just respend the money. But yeah, that sucks. Basically, money kind of like lost. Not necessarily lost, but I don't know. People are people are crazy. Just give them something and ask to talk about. Some people are out. Okay. Yeah, just give him something and ask to talk. No, dude, the dude is too far out to do that. You know what I mean? Because yeah, the dude, he's not mentally stable. You know what I mean? I couldn't just like offer him a 4 pack and try to like make amends with the guy. It's better just to try to keep my distance from him, not let him know. You know what I mean? Not let him know where I plan on camping ahead of time, and then try to be further than a bike's distance away. Because he's on a bike. He's only gonna want to pedal so far. You know what I mean? Not to be a dick, not trying to be rude. You know what I mean? But if I'm 11 miles away, that's a hell of a way. You gotta really huff a bike to push it 11 miles just because you want to get to somebody. I don't know. You know what I mean? Granted, yeah, if you're ready to kill somebody, you'll do about anything at that point. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I just try to avoid the guy. I don't talk to him. I try not to look in his direction. You know what I mean? I just do my own thing. Pray to God I don't get a flat tire. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, pray I can get another 200,000 miles out of this car. You know, and then I don't plan on Uber driving forever. Um, like I said, hopefully in 15 years' time, Bitcoin will pay off. Because it's already paid off for the people that have been in for the last 15 years. Granted, I'm not going to see that same amount of exponential growth, but I don't need much to get through it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to find a way throughout my whole life. I'm trying to live with like just like less than $1,000 a month. Like, and then granted, inflation's going to be a bitch. It's going to be harder and harder to do. But like I refuse to pay over $1,000 a month to rent anywhere. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking paying over $1,000 a month because like I'm gonna have to live either way. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not gonna live because you're not paying for a place to live. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm gonna have to exist either way because I refuse to stop breathing in. You know what I mean? So, but do I have to pay 1,100 or fucking even 800 a month just to have a place to sleep because y'all want to make it illegal to sleep in public? You know what I mean? And I don't know. it's it's a human right. I feel like to be able to sleep if you're tired, right? If you're tired and there's a bench that is nobody else is using, you should be able to sleep on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the homeless person in me. Like, fucking you figure 90% of the time the bench doesn't even get used. You're, you're just helping them get more money out of the bench. It's more valuable now. Somebody uses it to sleep on. I don't know, dude. But yeah, I don't know. I might have to find land in another county or something. Move further up north in Florida, closer, more like 20 miles south of Georgia or something. Um, which is, it's a nice part of Florida. It's basically you're in Georgia already at that point, you know. But the thing is, it'd be way harder to find a job. Um, leaving Florida? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, I mean, even if I didn't have, like, say, if all my family was gone, I'd still want to be in Florida. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the Spanish were right. They found the fountain of youth. You know what I mean? Because look at, especially the old world. I'm talking, Africa, Europe, and Asia, right? And look at, like, where was their fresh water before that? Before they found Florida, where, fresh water was like a commodity, and then they get off the boat and then talk to the natives and they take them to fresh water where they could just scoop it and just drink it. Like I literally I think it's the fountain of youth. You know what I mean? What's the first thing you need to live? Water. And Florida is literally covered with over 200 freshwater springs. That fresh water just comes out of the ground like a miracle. I mean, it's like I don't want to leave Florida. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's get oh, the millionaires are like pricing everybody out. You know what I mean? It's basically you need two people both with a degree to afford a house in Florida. It's getting to that point. Granted, where I'm at, it's not quite there yet, but like I basically need both me and my wife to both be management so that we can afford a house where we are. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, they don't have any other more affordable. Hey, Kevin, man, that's probably you doing all those hearts. Love you too, bro. But yeah, like they don't have more affordable options either. Um, because I'm like looking for housing like under 100K, and it doesn't exist unless it's like some dumpster fire flip property. And I'm just trying to find something livable. I don't expect anything too nice, but at the same time, I want if I'm putting 100K or even 80K on it, I want to be able to move in once paperwork is finished. I don't want to have to wait till, you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Part of me is like, I kind of got an opportunity. I could probably move out to Arkansas. And I heard Arkansas is very cheap. New Mexico is a cheaper place to live, and then I don't know, but it's complete desert out there. You know what I mean? New Mexico, Arkansas would be a little bit, I would think, and same thing like Oklahoma. Seen. I got a buddy out there that said he'd put me up for a couple. As long as I paid. He said, if you pay my mortgage, which is I think it was like 750 a month. He's like, I'll put you up. You have a place to stay for at least 3 months, and it's fair is fair. You know what I mean? Especially when your money's going to a friend versus a landlord. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind paying him to to have to live there. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like I had, kind of there's kind of an opportunity to go to Oklahoma, but I know my ex and hopefully my future wife, hopefully, I know she wants to come back to Florida at some point. She's just stuck where she's at for now. Um, you know what I mean? Like her ultimately, bigger picture, long term plan is to come back to Florida. So, I'm just continuing to build as best as I can. Um, you know what I mean? Trying to build and stack, and eventually get to the point I have like 20K in savings that, because it's in Bitcoin, it doubled on me or 5x'd on me. So that 20K is now 100K, and then at that point I would just get a loan on the Bitcoin, get like a 10-year loan against my Bitcoin collateral, right? And then, yeah, just 10 years time, pay back the loan and then get your Bitcoin back, right? And then just withdraw 4% each year until you're gone. That's it. That's the plan. It shouldn't be that hard. I've already got 10%. I'm doing good. I just need to keep moving so that way I don't have to withdraw it now to spend it on something. You know what I mean? I still got to keep passing go and collecting $200 one way or another. You know. But yeah. See, the one thing I would like about New Mexico is all the Native American culture and stuff out there, like the rocks and turquoise and all that. I'm sure you know. But yeah, I've always been kind of like interested in learning as much as even though I'm not native myself. I don't know, just out of respect. You know what I mean? Because we owe them everything. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm saying I don't. The millions of people that died for us to be free, regardless of their skin color, for us to get to the point that we are today, I don't think that they died just for us to all go line up and work at Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart or Target, and then bend over and salute and do our 40, and then hopefully we need 50, because the way everything is priced, the 40 is not even enough, but they're only giving you 38 anyway because they don't want you to even get 41. You know what I mean? I don't think the millions of people that fought each other, and we fought other countries and are still fighting other countries for us to be free. I honestly, I don't know why anybody's doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I get wanting to have a house, but, fucking, why? Why should it cost you 30 years of your life? Fucking, there should be a house that costs you 5 years of your life somewhere, you know? Like, I don't know. But I appreciate the likes, guys. Well, I hope I got, I don't think I've seen Sam before, so hopefully you're subscribed now. Like I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then, I'm not gonna be one of them YouTubers that are like, please subscribe all the time, because I hate it, watching that shit myself. I'm like, dude, like if like I like your videos, I watch, but I'm not ready to hit the subscribe button just yet. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like, just if I do make any money off of YouTube, I'll just leave it where it's at until I'm ready to like clock out for good, and then turn around and look at the stack of pennies that turned into a couple hundred, or whatever. But yeah, it's just a dream for now, and I'm lucky I do have a few people that are watching. I don't know. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I try to go live like once a week. Not necessarily that I try to. Just like I'll be bored. You know what I mean? And try to throw a line out to see if anybody wants to hang out. Um, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know. uh, to be honest with you, I don't even like this format. Right? I don't even like this orientation. I'd rather be this way. Um, yeah, because if you're this way, it'll save the live chat. or something. You know what I mean? So if I go to post it as an actual video for people to watch afterward, the live chat, people could read the live chat. They'll be able to follow more what's going on. But for some reason, in this angle, up and down, it doesn't save the live chat. So people, they only hear like half the conversation. You know what I mean? If they're rewatching it later. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, dude, I'm surprised. I went from like I posted one video 4 years ago. Like I was planning on doing the Appalachian Trail. I still want to. I still want to break the record for doing it the most, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I posted a video about doing the Appalachian Trail, and COVID was going on at the time, so I set it out like far ahead. Um, but I wasn't able to do it. But I had a couple subscribers that were with me from that. I had like 14 when I first started playing with it now, and then now I think I'm at 140. So I mean, it's been about 4 months or so I've been playing with it, but I've only been like the daily uploads thing. I've only done that for about 17 days or so. Um, this one out. Hot Springs, New Mexico. Huh? I never knew that. Just like man, I've been living fucking. There's a town called Hernando, right? And it just completely went over my head that the name of the city is it's named Hernando because of Hernando de Soto. Like I don't know, for some reason I've been all over Hernando. never thought of it that way. I don't know, for some reason. Like I even been on the DeSoto Trail and stuff like that, but it was like I never realized the city was named after the guy. It's like, oh, duh. I'm Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Doug Dimmadome. Yeah. Oh no. Uh-oh. Message held for review. Uh-oh. I don't know why it does that. You didn't even say anything. Because you said Geronimo? Like what? You can't say the G word. Don't say the G word in my channel. Don't get me banned. Yeah. 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 I haven't been to too many museums, to be honest with you. I went to the Museum of Science and Industry in Tampa a lot as a child, but it wasn't really like a museum. It was more like a science fair, kind of. I don't know, in a way. Not necessarily that we're giving out awards or nothing, but yeah, it was like experiments on display, kind of. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I don't know. Like usually the videos, they're a little. There's more action than the live chat. Obviously, you know, I try to, I do try. Like what I do is I'll record, and I usually get to the point where I don't know, try to at least make a 10-minute video, because I want something, it's like it's episodic, you know what I mean? And like, like an episode of SpongeBob's at least 12 minutes long, you know what I mean? So, yeah, try to make at least a 10-minute video, try to have like random clips, like Family Guy, how Family Guy will do cutaways, and then like half the jokes on Family Guy is cutaways. So it's the same thing, but my cutaways are to Family Guy, or The Office or South Park or whatever I can find clips of. Like there's not a lot of material on the app that I'm using because I just use my phone for all the editing. But yeah, I do try to like even if I reuse a clip, I try to put it in at the right moment, where like people will be like, ah, hey, you put that in again, and I hope it comes across that way as the viewer. You know what I mean? Because yeah, there's one of like this car. It's like a Ford Focus or something, and it's drifting in the snow. And like every time I'm talking about, like well, not every time, but I'm talking about doing, I'm beating up my car, and then I wonder why that's happening, and then I'll clip of the car drifting over on the ice. Oh, yeah, been about an hour now. Not bad. Yeah, thought the random would show up, but it's probably too late for him. He's more of a morning person from what I know. It surprised me Sad Clowns ain't popped in, said nothing. I think he's probably busy. He's a big timer. Oh yeah, man, Sam, I don't know if you're still here because you said you had to go, but um, I don't even know if you're into it. You're probably not because not a lot of people are. But if you're into like the band Twisted or ICP, or if you like Tech Nine a little bit, or the Cottonmouth Kings, or um, Blaze, he um, he takes these songs and then he revamps them. He uses AI, but he also, he's a DJ too. He mixes his own kind of flavor into it. Like kind of, he'll stop the AI and like rework it, send it this way. Um, but yeah, he if you wouldn't even know, like if you're not an ICP fan and you heard the songs, some of the songs almost sound like faith healing Christian rock music or something. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Ever heard of Bones? No, no, I haven't heard of Bones. I like Boondocks a lot. I'm waiting for him to start mixing up some Boondocks shit. Like, and if you got a request, like you hear his stuff, you might be like, oh man, I wish he would do this song. Let him know. You know what I mean? Because he's got a list, and he pretty much he'll make a video about once a week. Put some time into it, and then post a new like music video. Well, not a music video because it's not like action or nothing, but he might get to that point. With the AI and all that stuff, he might like have a whole thing. But yeah, like Jamie Madrox, he instead of using like he has a female voice for Jamie Madrox, and oh my god, it hits it like you still hear him because like she puts that kind of dictation in her words a little bit, but yeah, I mean it's pretty good, dude. I wouldn't be telling you this if it wasn't worth 30 seconds. You know what I mean? And after 30 seconds, you'll know if it's good or not. Uh, it won't even let me type into the chat. It's kind of messed up. At least I haven't figured out how to do it yet, if there is a way. But it's Sad Clowns. Two words, K and a Z at the end of clowns. He should pop up. Even if you misspelled clowns and spelled it the right way, he should pop up. Um, Under the Moon He did a pretty good job. Under the Moon. He did a really good job on Afraid of Me. We Don't Die. He did a pretty good job. Cottonmouth King's Suburban Life. It's one of my favorites. He tried to do Ice Ice Baby. I'll be honest with you, I only heard it like one time. I'm not really a fan of Vanilla Ice. Yeah, I've heard way too much Ice Ice Baby. You know what I mean? He was like, I don't know. Like imagine if Vanilla Ice would have actually took off, right? Because he was actually before Eminem, I think, if I remember history the right way. Imagine if Vanilla Ice would have actually been Eminem. You know what I mean? Like in terms of who's the king of white rappers. You know? Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like, I didn't even like IC. Well, I like ICP because the carnival sounds. Like I like Cotton Candy and Popsicles, and I like Welcome to the Show. And Three Rings is pretty good. It's a little darker. Um, Thy Unveiling was a really good song. Walk into the Light. I thought, I liked it. Um, Toy Box was good. But they got like a carnival twang, because they're clowns, dark carnival, you know what I mean? And all the songs that have like that carnival sound in them, like Ferris wheels and bumper cars are fun, but those rides just aren't for everyone. Bought my ticket, thought I'd have a run in the maze. Woo! If I don't come back right away, give me time at least a half a day. Don't just leave me lost and thrown away in the maze. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. But I get you there. Like, I don't listen to too much music either. I don't like, I don't know. Like, you gotta have that feeling. It's gotta be, I don't know, it's gotta be the right time of day or the right time of the week. You know what I mean? Like, I did like music, younger a lot, but then as I got older, I started to realize, like, oh yeah, it's just, people told me, like, oh, it's a subliminal message. I'm like, oh fuck, like, like you've been being brainwashed with music your whole life. I'm like, oh fuck, maybe I should stop listening to it. I don't know. Right. It's gonna be like a really, really good song, not just some fucking shit that's coming out of fucking radio. What the name is? Con. Whenever you are in the mood for some good names. Yeah. Like Jay Giles Band. Fucking Whammer Jammer. Like Jay Giles Band. Fucking, I don't know. Fuck, let's trip on some acid and go to the carnival, man. Okay. Hell yeah. Con. Yeah, I'll check them out. Like, I don't know. YouTube, for me, YouTube is pretty much cable TV nowadays. I mean, it's, yeah, you know what I mean. Because I do like, like hour long, you know what I mean. If I'll find a YouTube video, documentary, guerrilla style, I don't know, I like that. You know what I mean? Um, like I like Osmond, hearing Osmond talk about bullshit, you know what I mean? He's where I get a lot of my political news from, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. We'll take 2 hits of acid, right? And then when we start to feel the 2 hits of acid, we'll take another 2 hits of acid, and then we'll just have fun. We'll go late at night when all the lights are on, and it'll just be a blast. We'll get corn dog and a funnel cake. We'll do it the right way. You know. Yeah, because I mean, you can't go to the carnival and not get a funnel cake unless you're broke. You know. Shit, I remember being a kid, going to like Busch Gardens or something down in Tampa. Fucking all the rich kids would have their Dippin' Dots. The Dippin' Dots were like the future of ice cream. I still to this day have never eaten Dippin' Dots. Like, I won't even buy them. It's like this is for the fucking rich kids. I'm too good for that shit. you know? Yeah. Well, see, like the key to having a bad trip, man, you surround yourself with good homies. You know what I mean? You don't if you haven't hung out with the person at least 2 or 3 times before, like if it's not like your fourth time hanging out with somebody, like you're in a group, 4 of y'all are all about to do acid, but you don't really know the one guy because it's only like your second time hanging out with him. I wouldn't suggest it. You know what I mean? Also, if you had like a bad day that day or a bad day the day before, or like you just lost a relative, you know, something like that, yeah, don't do it. Can you give away a car? Um, like I mean, eventually, like if I have enough Bitcoin later on, and then I have enough wealth, like I'm not gonna just keep it all for myself because I'll only need like X amount of money to survive. Like I don't plan on living past 80. So, I might have enough money. I might save enough money for me to live till 90, technically, you know what I mean? At least food wise, and I'd make sure my housing situation's covered, you know what I mean? But then after that, yeah, I'd probably buy somebody a car for no reason, some random person, go into a grocery store and be buying people's grocery carts, you know what I mean? Whatever extra I had, I'd probably, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'll ever actually be there. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm gonna give people that are like panhandling money because I don't people are panhandling. They're not necessarily trying to panhandle because they're trying to get ahead. Like they're panhandling because they're in the situation too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't. I would give them food maybe, or like a jacket, blanket, maybe a tent if they needed it. But I wouldn't just like, here's $20, here's 100. Go ahead and get off the corner for the day. I don't know. Just because the majority of them, you give them $100 bill, they're gonna go right. They're gonna go buy some fucking meth. You know, at least with half of it. You know. Thank you, sir, man. Appreciate that, Jonathan. I think that's Jonah. Jonah Jonathan and Raid. Jonathan and Raid. I'm probably not even saying that right. Probably, I'm putting syllables. I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. That's what I'm doing. We call her Butterfly, like a little dog would trip with us. I remember. Yeah, that's the best part, man. Fucking like when a smell activates a memory. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll smell peach skull. If you know what I'm talking about, peach skull, man. Fucking, any kind of flavored skull. But different flavor of skull will remind me of something different. Like Skullberry blend. That takes me back, fucking, after wrestling practice. Very first pinch I ever put in, man. This guy was, dude I was on the wrestling team with, Austin. He's like, hey man, he's like, you should put this in. Fucking, I forget what words he actually used because this was years ago in high school. But I just, remember that taste of that fucking berry blend. And then I was lucky. My sister was coming to pick me up instead of my stepdad. And like, cause I had a fucking nicotine high. Like, it was like, and this was before I was smoking weed, so it was like a weed high from chewing tobacco. What skull? Skull, yeah, skull's chewing tobacco. Like in the can, like shredded, like a can, like like that. Not like a bag, like loose leaf tobacco. People shove in their teeth, you know. But this is like you put it right here in your bottom lip, and you kind of like suck it through your bottom teeth, and then spit the juice out. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to swallow the juice. It'll it fucking cause you all kinds of nausea, headaches, all kinds of shit. Really got to jump out. I appreciate the conversation with my friend. I can't wait to chat again. Just be safe and spread love, bro. I will, man. But yeah, yeah, no, I get it, man. We all have lives. Like, like if you ever got a couple million people, like say everybody was gonna get together and get on the front steps of the White House and protest something. Say you got 10 million people all gathered. We're all gonna protest something. See the government. They know that eventually we'll all have to disperse, whether it's because the police or like we'll all have to eventually return to our lives. So nothing will ever actually happen. You know what I mean? It'll just be a news coverage thing. The 10 million people that gathered in the front steps of the White House, the other, what is it, 260 million people would just watch on YouTube or on CNN or, you know what I mean, TikTok, fucking, like, and they know it too. Like, we can't get together and stop them from doing anything nowadays. You know what I mean? Even with our votes. Because it's, whether you paint it red or you paint it blue, it's still two heads on the same fucking bird. You know what I mean? The way I see it, it's just a fucking two-headed bird. And the biggest problem is that it's the two-party system. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they're red or blue. We're still voting for them. You know what I mean? Appreciate you hanging out, man. But yeah, man. I don't know. And then like I don't know. I was gonna say something, but I can't think of how to phrase it to where I can get the words to come out the way I want them to, or even what I mean, even enough to like provoke the thought all the way out. You know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna say it all the way, say it at all. You know what I mean? Because it was like people say, there's nothing nice to say, don't say it. And it wasn't exactly nice. And then, like I said, I don't really have my words together to where I can even say it. I'm sorry. I was like, what do you mean? What are you trying to say? Tell me. Just tell me. Wait, wait. But no, I don't know. But yeah, it's like the women already run the country. You know what I mean? Like they already run the country without even having to be in a political seat of power. They run the country so much that in this country we've already had a woman has already made it to the Super Bowl basically, as far as the presidential election. A woman has made it to like be one of the last members twice already in this country. Where a lot of people with gray hair, even elderly women don't want to see a woman president. You know what I mean? But the thing is they already control everything enough to where they're already popping on the ballot anyway. You know, I don't know how else to. I don't. That's what I was trying to say. I just couldn't, and I still didn't actually even present it the right way or the way I wanted it to. But you know what I mean. But yeah, it's like if a woman wants to be president, by all means, it's another job a man will have to do. You know what I mean? Any job a man does, women can do, right? So I mean, it's one less thing men will have to worry about having to do. Women, we got to the point where women can be senators and women can run the House of Representatives, but women couldn't be president. You know what I mean? But we've had a Queen of England for like, until a couple of years ago for like the last 80 or 90, and England's had queens for over 1,000 years, I think, at least at different times. I don't know. It's just stupid, man. The amount, how much we fucking drag our knuckles about shit in this country is fucking stupid. It's almost getting to the point that's like part of the reason women wear high heels is trying to help their knuckles from fucking dragging on the fucking ground. Yep. Right. Yeah, yeah, men are sexist, right? Women aren't sexist. If a woman is sexist, she's a feminist, right? It's fucked up, but it's true. Like only men can be sexist. If a woman's sexist, she's feminist. It's fucked. And then like I was watching a video where this woman was like, "What happened to all the men with money? Like why can't I find any kind of man that's got money?" And she's like over 40, and then the guy comments, he's like, well, because men with money, they're not looking for women in their 40s. It's, he goes on, he's like, and then since the 50s, y'all have been bitching about equality and wanting to make more money. He says, well, and for that to happen, men had to make less so y'all could make more. And so the reason men don't have more money is because of the equality that y'all wanted, right? This is what y'all wanted, right? He's, he says it better than I am. Oh, this is just a cheap cigar. Um, I get them at the dollar store. They're supposed to be cherry flavored. They kind of are on the tip, you know what I mean? Kind of like a black and mild would be like wine flavored through the wooden tip. Kind of sort of like, yeah, they're $2 a pack, you know, and like I see the people that roll their own cigarettes. I don't know. I don't want to smoke them, but it's just part of Uber driving, and all the fucking traffic and fucking bullshit, and it helps me. My weed goes further because I'm smoke. Like I don't have to smoke my bowl right now because I got something else to smoke. But I am out of cigarettes until Family Dollar opens up tomorrow, and I'll just have to just smoke my bowl until then. But yeah, it does help because like some of the Uber drivers, they'll send me on some real fucked up mileage. You know what I mean? But for my acceptance rate, I gotta accept it. Because so I get fucked. I'll have to take some 17 fucking mile $10 bullshit. And but at least I got a cigarette I could smoke on the way. You know, and then for $2 a pack, fucking I smoke about 5 packs a week. It's $10. And $10, yeah. Honestly, they take a good minute to smoke them too. Sorry, I'm talking about them for a minute, but yeah, they take a good minute to smoke them too. And the 15 an hour that I make before taxes, at least, I smoke like one of them on the clock, and the pack bought itself because I took a smoke break. And part of the other reason is, um, my old job, the store I came from before I moved to this one, there was a guy. He would, granted, he would bust ass, man. You know what I mean? He'd come in. He was our fucking tank. The dude, he would run around, about a foot shorter than me, but man, he could outwork like anybody I think I've seen so far. But yeah, this dude, he'd work his ass off, but about like every 45 minutes, like clockwork, he'd go out and get a smoke. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, like I don't work as hard as him, but I still feel like, man, I feel like I deserve a smoke. And like if he gets 6 smoke breaks, I feel like I ought to be able to at least get 2 or 3. If I get half as many smoke breaks as he gets, I don't work as hard as he does, so I don't need to be taking as many smoke breaks as he does. You know what I mean? Stupid, but yeah, I don't know. I started picking up, he'd go out to smoke, and I'd bum a cigarette off of him, and I was delivering for Papa John's at the time, and traffic up there was bullshit, and started smoking, and yeah, I've been smoking for, it'll be a year, I think, in July. I've been smoking these cigars, but I'm trying to stop, you know what I mean? Honestly, I don't want to be beating the shit out of my lungs more than marijuana already is. But yeah, like you said, you can't buy much for $10 nowadays. And then even if I were to roll my own cigarettes, I bet it would cost me at least $10 for the tobacco, and I'd sit there breaking the tubes and shit, fucking wasting hours of my fucking patience trying to fucking shove the fucking tobacco in the tube without the tube breaking, you know what I mean? Or just go spend $2 and, get these fucking cheap packs, fucking nothing. What is $2 nowadays, $2 is like what 50 cents used to be. Yeah. Yeah, an hour 13 minutes, man. Not bad. We're doing pretty good, man. I don't know. When I first started this live stream, I was doing some kind of voice. I can't even remember to do the voice again, but I had like a bunch of people popped in while I was doing that voice. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I'm here, guys. How y'all doing? Something like that. Like, yeah, dang old man, fucking, been going out back, and every now and then you gotta grab a rake, scoop up some shit, move it over here. The old man's out there, he's screaming at you, fucking can't move fast enough, can't move fast enough, can't move fast enough. They forget the point that you're actually moving in the first place. You know what I mean? But just keep kind of fucking around with all this bullshit. Fucking. Yeah, I know. I want to go back and tip the lady that made the sandwich because I wasn't expecting to make $50 on that shit. You know what I mean? And that was a blessing. You know what I mean? I feel like I should spread it. You know what I mean? She might not even take it if I tried to give her a $10 bill. If I went back up into that subway and was like, hey, here, I got hooked up on that, and I just felt like, you were the actual artist. All I did was move it, you know. But yeah, because they must have made it a hell of a good sandwich too, because they had already tipped 10, and then they figured the 10 wasn't good enough. They decided to give me 26. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Okay, that's good. All right. I don't know. I guess the guy just really likes salami. Maybe he substituted the other meats. Like he paid for double meat, and then he didn't want ham or roast beef or something like that. You know what I mean? He was like, no, don't give me no ham or give me triple salami. And because he paid for double meat, he got a fuckload of salami. Because I get it, man. Fucking a bunch of pepperoni and cheese, a hoagie roll, a bunch of fucking pepperoni and cheese on it. It don't sound bad. Whoa, come on now. It's fucking, come on now, bro. That wasn't cool. Like, I wish they wouldn't use that word themselves, to be honest with you. They degrade themselves with their own word. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, it's 2026, bro. Like, let's step up and move forward. Let's try to evolve forward, you know? We'll take the idea of evolution and revert to a monkey. Fucking, you know, you're segregating yourself with your own word, you know, and then, you know, all the white people, we want to try to get a pass so we can say it, you know? Like, whatever, bro. How about nobody says it, you know? We just let it be a part of dead history, you know? Fucking, like, let's actually fucking use some of that equality we talk about, you know? Not try to fucking single people out with a word. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. I'm wondering, though, like, there's usually an old guy who parks over there in this parking lot. Like, he's always parked over there. He's got like a white Toyota Camry. But he's not here tonight. Like, he popped in for a minute. He was here. Then he left. I don't know. Fucking, I don't know, man. Lord, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your back to leave the ground. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. I'm parked here and I'm at the gym. Like, I gotta run inside and get a shower. Well, that's the reason I'm here. But I don't know, chilling with y'all for a minute before. I don't know. I don't like coming here to get a shower either. It's like they don't clean it. You know, they don't even. I don't think it's not that they don't clean it enough. It's that they. I don't think they've cleaned it in like a month or more. And so there's like a bunch of like a wad of fucking gray hair that's in the drain and shit. And you know, like I need a shower. You know what I mean? I gotta kind of wash my ass. You know, and then I pay for the service here. You know, of having a gym membership with shower access. And I don't know. I'm waiting for the membership to run out, and I'm gonna go to a different gym. But you know, I'm still like locked in here because unless I go to my bank and you know tell my bank like, hey, stop, you know, stop the payments to them. But you know, like if in the future I ever need to use this gym again, I don't know that they'll let me back in as, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know. You know what I mean? They say, you know, you should build bridges, not burn them. You know what I mean? If I were to like cancel my check, you know, go to my checking account and tell them to cancel. Right. You know, I feel like at least once a week. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting them to be like hotel clean, like there's a maid that comes in there and cleans it, or you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, they have somebody that hangs out there for a 40-hour week. You know, like a personal trainer person. You know, helps people get enrolled and you know somebody's there 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And there was a guy, you know, and he'd actually clean the bathroom. He didn't do it too much, but you know, it was part of his job to clean the bathroom. But now they got there was like a girl that was his boss. You know what I mean? And I guess you know things got tight or this, that, the other. Maybe the guy got fired. I don't know. He went on to something else. Whoever, whatever knows. Um, but yeah, the guy's gone, and now the girl that was his boss, she's here where he was, and she doesn't fucking clean it. Well, not that I'm saying she's supposed to, you know what I mean, but whoever, whatever cleaning crew or whatever they have that comes in here, they don't clean it. You know what I mean? You can tell by how long the fucking hair's been sitting in there in the shower, and I bet it's still there now, or how full the trash can will be for like days. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not expecting them to fucking scrub the toilet with bleach every fucking day. You know what I mean? But fucking, the trash can shouldn't be overflowing half the time or more when I go into the bathroom. You know what I mean? Just small stuff like that, because you're paying for the membership. You on top of however ever many people that all have this gym and all have a membership. And, we're all paying for it to be kept up. You know what I mean? And then, granted, you don't show up and make a huge mess. You know what I mean? Like I try to, like the only mess I leave is like water. Which I leave the fan on. I try. The bathrooms have an exhaust fan. You know what I mean? I try to pull the humidity out of the room by leaving the fan on. You know what I mean? And hope whoever comes in the bathroom next, they'll turn the fan off to save electric. You know what I mean? I'm not just turning the fan on for it to be on 24 hours a day and fuck them up on their electric bill. But you know what I mean? But yeah, like you don't try to leave the place. You don't try to leave a bathroom dirtier than it was when you walked in. You know what I mean? Like let's be humans here. You know what I mean? If the bathroom was already a mess, you do your business, you wash your hands hard, and you try not to touch the door handle when you leave. I should look to see if there is. That's a good idea. Or maybe I can even just slip a note underneath the door of the office. Like, hey, clean the bathroom once a week. The shadow. Like, hey, clean the bathroom once a week. The shadow. It used to be an old radio show. I don't know, 'cause you're in Australia. I don't know if they had it over there, but it was like an old 1930s radio. Before TV, people would sit around the radio, and they'd hear a program on the radio. It was one called The Shadow. Right. And it's like a national brand too. So like they're not making just this one gym look bad. They're making like 200 gyms look bad. And like I'm saying, I'm not saying the girl that's working here should clean it, but it probably is part of her job to clean it because it's not getting cleaned. You know what I mean? Right. Which I don't, as a personal trainer, at, like a small gym like this, I don't. There's probably not a whole lot of work to really do. You know what I mean? You probably just answer people's stupid questions about memberships. You know what I mean? Get them signed up, and because it's not a big gym. You know what I mean? Like they don't have fucking like aerobics classes or like a pool or what I mean, enough room to have a spinning class or what I mean. If they do any kind of personal trainer thing, it's like a one-on-one. There's only room for that. You know what I mean? Taibo class, nothing. Nothing like that. But yeah, it's like I don't know. But I can't. I liked this gym because it's adjacent to everything. Mileage is the number one thing I'm trying to watch. Like I said, even though I'm Uber driving, but like if my car breaks down while I'm in the parking lot of the gym, I know I could still get to my actual job. You know what I mean? If he has me on the schedule and he wants me to work, I can be down there. I can work. You know, if my car breaks down at work, I can still get up to the gym. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Cause yeah, I need a shower. Cause yeah, it just yeah. Like that's the one thing I'm thinking. Like if I do the Appalachian Trail, actually end up doing the Appalachian Trail like I want to, I'll have to bring a camp shower with me, and I'll have to find a water source, which is not hard. There's maps and everything. There's guidebooks and pretty much you walk from water source to water source in between walking to post office to post office. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I would figure out a way to like wash myself every day because the if you're not showering every day, the chafing, right? A lot of fat people that can't do the trail because the chafing. And going 3 4 days or a whole week without a shower, you know what I mean? You're not not cleaning yourself off and letting your body heal the way it should. You know what I mean? You're just staying dirty, and you know what I mean. So yeah, if I ever do the trail, sorry, TMI, but yeah, if I ever do the trail, I would have like a camp shower thing, and it's like it holds like 5 gallons, and then it's got a little on off lever knob, valve. That's what it is. But yeah, have like a valve where you can control the water flow, and you just make sure you can shower in less than 5 gallons of water, basically. And when it doesn't have water in it, it'll collapse down so that you can fit it in your bag. You know, it's dumb shit. But yeah, even when I go do the trail, I'm trying to do it with as little items as possible. Like I was wanting to take like a whole air mattress, and like I don't know, everybody does the trail. They pretty much they'll sleep with like a sleeping bag on top of like a really thin accordion style sleeping mat. Something that kind of like there's a thermal layer between them and the ground, but that's it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna bring like a whole full size fucking air mattress with me. Like a foot pump and just foot pump and fill it up, and that's what I'll sleep on. It's gonna be 10 pounds of weight to carry that. At least I'll know I'm sleeping really good. You know, that's what I thought for a good minute. But I don't know. Like I said, I'll just be happy enough just to do it. You know, but yeah, I think like because you're on the trail anyway. You know what I mean? How much money do you think you could really spend when you're on the trail, right? And you'd give yourself like a food allowance, like X amount of money that you could spend each month, and you just go hike, you know, walk from Georgia all the way up to Maine, and have X amount that you spend per week on food when you go to the Dollar General or wherever. You grab a couple, whatever you can that you could, non-perishable food, put in your backpack, and that's it. You just meet some cool people on the way. Take your time because you're not trying to rush. But at the same time, you want to do at least 10 miles a day. You know, no, I don't know. I'm really trying to, cause I don't like people either. I'm really not a people person. I don't like meeting people. You know what I mean? I was thinking, the right way I would even do it. Like I would go for like a sermon, right? And like after the sermon was over, try to go up to talk to the preacher directly, and let him know my situation, and then he would either reach out or give me the number of who I need to reach out to, like that's part of the church that does that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Um, like it would be nice if, like, say, because I have 5 grand in savings, if like by a miracle, the church would be able to match me on that 5 grand, so I could buy my camp, buy my base camp with, you know what I mean? But I know that's a long shot. You know what I mean? That's like a dream on a wish upon a star type of thing. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could use help, but at the same time, I'm not really starving. I'm just spending too much money on eating on the run. You know what I mean? That's where kind of the reason I want to get a van is because I'll have enough, just this much more room. I'll have enough room to fit a rice cooker, and you know what I mean. I'll be able to make stuff with rice. You know what I mean? Rice can make, rice is a part of what? How many millions of meals? how many millions of recipes include rice? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have an Alexa either, you know. But yeah, I could fucking just take a can of spaghetti sauce, you know, throw it on some white rice, and boom, it's fucking meatless spaghetti. And I think you can cook ramen in a fucking rice cooker and shit like that too. The fridge is a lot of electric though, because fridges are DC powered or something like that. Yeah, I have to make sure I have like a decent battery to run a fridge. A fridge would be nice, but at the same time, we didn't have refrigeration until like after the 1940s. You know what I mean? Like I remember like black and white Mickey Mouse cartoons and Goofy. You know, Goofy was like an ice delivery guy. He'd deliver blocks of ice. You know, and that's a job I would love to do today. You know, it'd be fun as fuck. You know, could you imagine being a milkman? Fuck. All the cool jobs are gone, except for YouTube. Yeah, yeah, post, yeah, and then like they get so many fucking days off. You know, like granted, yeah, it's tough work, especially if you have like an on foot, um, yeah, you're like an on foot route postal worker. Oh God, you know, somewhere it snows. Oh man, but I don't know, dude. I heard like UPS drivers, they make some hella money now. Like that's the hidden gem. Like you can make more money to be a UPS driver than you can to work in a pharmacy. You know what I mean? You know, people in a pharmacy aren't really making that much money, but still, um, yeah. But the thing is, like, people that work in a pharmacy, like, it's a lot of counting. You know what I mean? Counting, and then recounting and recounting and recounting. You know, it's like half the job is just fucking counting pills. I don't know. I haven't done it myself. I just see from over the counter. Don't shoot me. You know. But yeah, it probably is. Probably a lot of fucking counting. They probably have like somebody that likes to count, and that's who counts. You know what I mean? Somebody that likes to run the front counter, and they run the front counter, and somebody that likes to run the drive-through, so they run the drive-through, or vice versa. Somebody that doesn't like to run the drive-through, so the boss makes them run the drive-through. like my boss. Like oh, you're only trying to work your 3 days a week. Well, let me go ahead and put you on the schedule for 6 days. Let me work you 9 days straight to do that too. Fuck it for real, bro. At a job, at a job I don't even fucking want to be at. That's why I'm trying to be there only 3 days, because like I need to work, but I don't fucking want to be here. We're fucking I gotta be here like fucking I'm trying to be there less than half the week. Fuck. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to say, take a moment. This video is only for educational and entertainment purposes. Um, if you want it, you have my permission to recreate, copy this, and post it wherever you want. Yeah, I'm not gonna be a dick about that. Whatever. Um, yeah, like I can't copyright. You know, fucking, I don't know. I don't really care. You could buy meat and cook it somewhere. Yeah, yeah, like yeah, true. A little barbecue grill, right? Yeah, because I mean, there might be burn bans, but there's nothing that says I can't have a fire in a grill, right? Exactly. And then with the fire, you can boil water. You can, grill up sausages, fucking nice bratwurst on fucking, it don't sound bad at all. And it's clean because it's, well, at least a little bit. It's at least, it's only got your mess on it versus like using a barbecue grill that might be like at the campground already that, who knows what was cooked on it before, you have to bring tin foil and all this other shit. Yeah. But ground beef is getting expensive, man. I would just get like chicken legs. Like you get it like an 8 pack of chicken legs, and that'd be too much food for me all at one sitting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking minced beef. Fucking buying minced beef by the kilo. Oh yeah, and I remembered that word when I was playing Red Dead with the guy that was in Australia. The word he would use like all the time. Like he'd use it as an adjective, he'd use it as a noun, he'd use it as an adverb. It's like a word that had a million uses. He'd always say ripper. Like I'd be doing something, like, oh yeah, cool. Did you see that? And he'd turn on his mic and just be like, ripper, and then turn the mic back. Yeah, it's like, ripper. But yeah, hey man, like I got a question. Like, what are guns like over there? Like, what are like only farmers have guns? Or like I heard you need to have a special permit like through the military to like have guns or something like that, right? There's like, and then you can only have up to 3 firearms or something. I don't know, but believe it or not, that's not that I'm really against the Second Amendment, but at the same time, like I feel like I'd be safer if I were able to actually leave the country and go to a place where the citizens don't have a right to hold deadly weapons. You know, like yeah, granted, the right to bear arms made sense when we needed to protect ourselves from panthers or bears or the natives or the Spanish, or whatever, back in the day, the right to bear arms made complete sense. But today, it's like there's a lot of people that have a gun, and their psychology is not even exactly right to where they should have a gun. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people they have a gun to protect themselves from, like a bad guy with a gun. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Or they're drug dealers. Or they need to protect themselves from all of that. So it's like just a lot of street war going on because we have the right to bear arms. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I don't. Imagine how much cleaner the streets. Oh, I lost a couple of viewers saying that. But you know what I mean. But imagine like I could imagine like a more of like a 1950s America without the racism, basically. If we didn't, if you know what I mean. But because there's gun rights, we've got 1,000 people getting killed a day in Chicago. You know? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Especially like the way guns have gotten too. Wow, they're you know. Granted, it's bullets versus lasers, and a bigger picture. It's like bullets versus lasers and satellites. I mean, you can only do so much. You can only fight your round so long if you're trying to fight the government. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna probably close this out and watch somebody else besides my own face moving back and forth. Giggity. All right. You have a good day, sir. What is it? I'm gonna guess it's probably what 2 p.m. there. Probably. I don't know. Y'all don't do daylight savings time, or do you do daylight savings? I don't know. I feel like the whole world should do daylight savings because it gets dark at like 10 o'clock in the summer. You know what I mean? And in the winter, it, it causes people to come indoors sooner because it gets darker sooner. Like it's 6 o'clock, it's pitch black. Some nights. You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be a better thing for the whole world to do it. Yeah. Right. I'm the same way, man. Like they're yeah. Not that I don't know. I wouldn't say like they scare me because they're a deadly weapon. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like I twinge or get a little nervous. Even if a dude has a gun like on his hip, holstered. Somebody's just like open carrying their weapon. I'm like, dude, come on, bro. It's not 1890. You know what I mean? Like fuck. What are you? Yeah, like fuck, bro. It's like, what do you sell drugs? Why do you need to have your gun out? What do you sell cars? Like what are you, a landlord? You a slum lord? Is that why you need to have your gun on your hip? Wow, it's 4:15. Wow. Can't imagine that. It just like my day just start it's midnight. Like the day's almost over for you, and it's just like we're just now starting the day here. Yeah. But man, I went from 6 viewers down to two just because I was talking about gun rights. Man, y'all are pretty petty. Those that left, y'all some petty motherfuckers. Because I'm like, you know, granted, I might lose. I might get my ass kicked. Might get myself sent to the hospital. I might die, but I would rather fight with my hands or my shoes on, if I need to, or with the environment that's around me, than use a fucking gun. You know what I mean? And I will fight to the death trying to slam someone's fucking face into a stop sign. You know what I mean? If I had to, rather than pull out a gun and fucking think that this is the equalizer. You know, I have the right to play God. You know, choose whether you live or walk away. Whether you walk away from here or not. It's fucked up. Yeah. Oh man, it looked like a cop was just about to pull into the parking lot, but he busted a Yui instead. That's why I was looking over there because it was a cop car. Phew. Not that I'm doing anything, sitting in my car at the gym, but cops are nosy. You know what I mean? It's their job. But yeah, luckily he's a traffic cop, so he was trying to go set up somewhere to catch a speeder or something, probably. That's something, man. I could do. I mean, I can't do it, but I bet I could if I could go back and tell myself like this is what you should do. Fucking being a cop, like just with a laser gun, fucking, just sitting there like you might as well be fishing, right? A fucking reel in your hand, and you're just sitting there with a laser gun looking for speeders. You know what I mean? Fucking chilling in a fucking AC car the state pays for. Doesn't matter if you break anything. Push the pedal to the floor when you need to. It's not your car anyway. Fucking, like most places I've seen, cops get fucking half price. Everything, and anywhere they go to eat, fucking half off because you're a police officer. That's why half of them are fucking overweight. It's like because they don't see if it's half off. They don't see half off. They see 2 for 1. You know, so half off a cheeseburger. Well, go ahead and give me 2. Yeah. Ai, vậy đó đó, trời ơi, trời ơi, ơi, chấm gió đó, chấm thế trời ơi, chấm trời hả? Dạ, chị vào sân rồi, sorry, I mean, I didn't yeah. Someone, someone, I got 4 viewers and 3 viewers. Chị cho gió bên trong đấy hả? Chị cho cái đó hả? Oh! But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it, man. Appreciate you hanging out, talking with me, being a little bit of therapy. But yeah, I gotta wind down. If I keep going, I'll just keep going. I do have to work tomorrow. They want me there earlier than I was today too. And then there's fucking more shit to do. So it's all bad. And I got some guy fucking some dude. This dude called today at the store, and I didn't tell him my name, but he knew my name, and it fucking freaked me the fuck out. This dude, like, there we go. But yeah, like, and this dude sounded like he was like years older than me. And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I got a wiper blade." He's like, "Well, you'll help me put it on too, right?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yes, it's part of our job." You know, like, great. I'm like, I'm looking so forward to you showing up at 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, "Thank you, bro." Because I need one more thing to do tomorrow. You know, and I tell the other guy I'm working with, I'm like, it's like this guy just asked me to help him put his fucking windshield wiper on. I'm like, wanted to be like, why? Because you don't have a fucking penis? You can't do something like that yourself? It's like changing the batteries in your remote for your TV. You just fucking do it. You need me to change the batteries in your remote to your TV? What are you, 90? You know? But yeah, all right, man. You have a good one. I appreciate you hanging out with me.